Book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 15, and verse 10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them now to dwell in the land of Egypt, but I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before, and will destroy all the land thereof. Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that God Yahweh shall bring upon it. Verse 15. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. All praises to Yahweh, by Shem Havashai, Wahara Kakodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. And scattered abroad amongst the heathen, some looking like the heathen. Looking at the 144,000 preachers, teachers, prophets, Shalom. Yeah, I got a few clips, man, I'm going to play, man. What we just read was 2nd Esdras, the 15th chapter. How about Shema Shai is breaking Egypt, which would be a spiritual Egypt today, America, down as he did ancient Egypt. Okay? The plagues are upon modern day Egypt, which is America, man. Okay? And with these plagues, these prophecies that Yahweh Shema Shah is causing is causing Egypt to mourn, meaning the citizens of America are in a state of mourning, and it's going to get worse, and it's going to cause the citizens of America, the modern day Babylonians, the modern day Egyptians, okay, to get roused up, right? And go against another, man. And go against one another. Hey, to get American citizens roused up to go up against the political figures. All right? This is what's going on, man. So as you see these things, each day is getting worse and worse, and news reports and things are coming out day by day. That's what it's building up to. So if you're thinking, oh, prophecy is the land on this, or so slow, no, it's moving fast, man. Okay? We're just impatient. And we got to continue to grow in the spirit and grow in patience. All right? Because when you go through afflictions and troubles, it seems longer than what it is. All right? It seems as if time is dragging. But no, it's actually fast. It's moving fast. Okay? When you tired or bored, you don't like something, it seems as if time is slow. But remember, we got to rejoice in these times, man. All right? Because Yahweh Shema Shai is breaking this place down. He is showing that he's about to deliver us. All right? That's what's going on. All right? That's exactly what's going on. Now, you read verse 17 and 18 and 19 and 2nd Esdras 15. So 2nd Esdras 15 and 17 down to the 19th verse. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, martial law. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the house shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of breath of great tribulation. All right? So that's what all this stuff is leading up to, and we already seeing these protests going on. All right? So due to lack of bread for afflictions, and all of this is playing a major part of the reason why these people are protesting, okay, and gonna become crazy, man. All right, now, real quick, let's play this. It says Trump must go. Thousands join protests across the U.S. Right, that was at 50-51. That happened Saturday. But more and more videos are coming out concerning these protests, man. As you see, they said Trump must go.
for is to take away our due process. No hate, no fear.
The people are rising up all over this country for good reasons, and I am here to that uprising and protest all the, especially the deportations, the grabbing of people who are here legally and legitimately and throwing them into jail with no due process.
This oligarch from South Africa stripping all of our society's elements that are for the people and trying to aggrandize it for a minority of powerful and rich, in a rigged system that benefits them and not us.
They've outlawed the use of certain words and phrases. They're arresting people for voicing their opinions and their thoughts. It's got to stop. That's our country's premise, freedom of speech.
You see that? That's something to everything. That's something to everything, right? Now, you got right here. Let's touch on the famine. 4 hours ago, U.S. Today, 8 artificial dyes will be phased out of U.S. food supply, Health Secretary RFK Jr. says. Now, this says 8 artificial dyes will be eliminated from medications and the nation's food supply by the end of 2026, including those found in candy, ice cream, soft drinks, and jams, according to Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., right? So it says what? 8 artificial dyes will be eliminated from medications and the nation's food supply by the end of 2026. Well, you might say, well, they could just remove the dye. They could, but that'd be too easy, wouldn't it? Remember, they want to break people down. The goal is to break people down, and they're going to do it. So what are they going to do? Take these things off the shelves. They're going to take these things off the shelves. So I typed in, will food companies remove the food off the shelves that has artificial dye? AI overview. Yes, food companies are expected to remove products containing artificial dyes from store shelves as part of a broader plan by the FDA to phase out these dyes from the food supply. The FDA plans to work with companies to eliminate specific dyes by the end of 2026. This means products containing those dyes will likely be reformulated or removed from shelves to meet the new standards. You see that? So he said they could just remove the dye. Well, I just told you, it's too easy to just remove the dye. All right? Hey, look, these dyes have causes cancers, illnesses, diseases, ailments. All right? Hey, fulfilling prophecy and is that Ezekiel? That our food will be defiled amongst the Gentiles in which we were scattered? Hey, you look at them countries back east, they take them dyes out their food. They don't have all them dyes in their food. As a matter of fact, a lot of these little Debbie snacks and cakes and all that mess they got over here in the United States, they can't sell that back east in the UK. See, back east, their bread, like stuff like that, muffins and stuff, you know, they don't have 140, 130 ingredients. No. They got like 2 or 3 ingredients. Over here, it's like 130. I'm exaggerating the number, but shit, it's damn the difference. You see? So what they just say? They're going to remove the products off the shelves so they can come up with a new formula. You see that? Remember, the dyes are also a part of their marketing strategy, man, to get people to buy. Why? Because people go off the taste. Off sight. America is so used to going off of sight, okay, and not facts and what things truly are. So people's minds over here in America are so twisted and distorted to the point they think the different color M&Ms and got different flavors, man. And Skittles got different flavors. No, this shit tastes the same. It's just a dye. They got your mind tricked out. You see that? They got people mind so messed up to the point where you think the dye that's in the food is associated with the flavoring. No, man, it's two different things. Your mind's been warped, man. You've been bamboozled. So what are they going to do? They're going to remove these things off the shelves, causing a shortage of food. Famine, which is a lack of food. Hey, that's why Yahweh Shema Shah had me read the second Esdras 15 and what it's going to lead to. This is why people are going to turn up because of the lack of bread for great tribulation. All right? Let's play the video. So when you see these things, man, don't just be simple-minded, but, oh, man, they just take it down. That ain't nothing. No, it's going to add to the famine, man. All right? And you know these kids they're going to be out here tweaking, man. They're going to be out here tweaking. These little bad bastards, man, shit. All they eat goddamn junk food. GMO food with dyes. Because the mama's too sorry to cook. Because they're trying to play the role of a man and a woman. So they neglect their role as a woman and give them candy and snacks and shit. And McDonald's, man. Finish. Give them a snack. Like they dogs. You hungry? Here's a snack. What you want to eat? Okay, I get you McDonald's. That's snack food, which is junk food. Killing them. Anyway.
Why would I use kayak to compare hundreds of travel sites at once? I like to do things myself.
Also, Health and Human Services Secretary
JFK Jr. moves to phase out dives. I just really speed down. She kind of bad. Both of them.
Also, Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. today moving to phase out the remaining 8 artificial dyes from America's food supply. The health secretary proposing to eliminate the petroleum-based dyes that are found in things like cereal, ice cream, snacks, and more, and he wants this done within 2 years. The secretary making the announcement in Washington, and here's what he said just a short time ago.
I was talking with my staff about these petroleum-based dyes, and I said if they want to add petroleum, if they want to eat petroleum, they ought to add it themselves at home. But they shouldn't be feeding it to the rest of us.
Well, ABC News medical correspondent Dr. Darian Sutton is joining us with the latest. I mean, it's a little bit hard to argue with that argument, but Dr. Sutton, it sounds like, again, they want to eliminate some of these things from this food supply, some of them by the end of next year. That includes some of these more specific dyes, and that's really quick, right, for them to eliminate that within a year, the rest within 2 years. What should Americans be looking out for in the meantime?
Food short.
It's incredibly quick. You know, food dyes are in a majority of products, or a lot of products, I should say. There was a Wall Street Journal analysis that found that 1 out of 10 products within supermarkets have some type of food dye in them. Of those products, Kana, at least 40% have 3 dyes or more. So this would be an incredible task to take on, trying to expedite this process. He even stated that red dye number 3, which was banned during the prior Biden administration, which has a goal to roll out in 2027, he had a goal to expedite that or move that into a quicker process. So all of that being said, it's a long regulatory process in order to take these products or these additives out of these food products that involves many stakeholders, not just the FDA, but also manufacturers as well as consumer health advocates.
And what are the concerns over the dyes generally?
So this is based on studies, and when we look at these studies, albeit they are smaller and some of them are older, they are animal studies that show that food dyes have been associated to outcomes such as cancer. The FDA maintains that these studies have not shown conclusive evidence that shows that harm can be affected in humans, but the FDA does also state that some children might have sensitivities. There are other studies that show that food dyes have been associated with behavioral changes, even hyperactivity, as well as even cases of allergies and irritable bowel disease. With that being said, these studies are still not fully conclusive. They're relatively small, and they don't tell the whole picture. But many health advocates are stating, oh, if there is any risk at all, why take that risk, given that there's no significant or no benefit at all by adding these food additives other than making products look better?
Well, I mean, these dyes have been in our food for years, right? They were approved in the first place. How does that happen, and how do they try to establish this national standard now in a new timeline?
Yeah, this has been decades long of a push from these health advocates that have been making sure that we are well aware of this information regarding the studies that have shown the associations with poor outcomes in terms of hyperactivity, behavior changes, and even, again, as I said, allergies and irritable bowel disease. Now, with that being said, the process of taking these food dyes out can be quite tremendous. When you look at the overall evidence, it is difficult to say a clear cause and effect, but if there is no clear benefit when adding something like a food additive other than making food look better, then many argue, let's just simply take it out. But that likely will take years, if not more, to fully roll out. If you're trying to make decisions for yourself and your family, the best advice is to look at the food label. All ingredients are listed in that food label. That is what we can trust on. And you want to make sure that if you want to avoid food dyes or artificial food additives, you can choose an easier route to pick organic foods. And then, of course, choosing whole foods over ultra-processed foods. And again, teaching your children is really important to read those food labels, making them savvy consumers so that when they're going around the supermarket by themselves, they can make better and healthier choices.
Yeah, that's smart. What's the rule? You shop on the outside of the aisles at the grocery store and not down the middle where the snacks are. Dr.
Exactly.
All right, Dr. Sutton, thank you so much for being on with us today. We always appreciate you.
These aren't just shoes. They're the last of a family tradition. Once they're gone.
Sorry about that. There you have it. And all this shop healthy. Look, majority, if not all of the fruit and vegetables are processed, man. All right? Most, if not all. Okay, there's no more seed. There's no grapes with seeds in it. No oranges with seeds in it. No apples with seeds in it. The damn watermelon full of damn rubber. That's rubber. That be busting. The banana's rubbery. The strawberries are hell. You might as well forget about that. Ain't no core in the damn peaches. You know, so they pretty much saying, man, hey, look, just look for this. The shelves gonna be bare pretty soon, man. All right, and they said by the end of 2026, man, hey, that's daytime. We move on your hot box Shema Shot time. Okay? I believe it's going to be sooner than that because prophecy is moving so fast. And these elites are moving with great wrath because they have but a short time going to that Revelation 12 and 12, man. And that's the spirit Yahweh Shema Shai got them in, man. All right? So hey, I believe it's going to be quicker than the end of 2026. And they said they want to do it by the end of 2026. So they're going to start removing this stuff off the shelves pretty soon. All right? So remember, if it's something so easy and simple to do, they're not going to do it. All right? Don't forget, this place is going down, man. All right? It's all a part of the plan. Okay, it's all a part of prophecy. It was another video I had them marching. Yeah, yep, here it is. We spoke on this the other day about what the Holy Spirit. It says Trump admin will seize wages, pensions, tax refunds to repay student loans. Listen, to repay student loans, debt cannot be wiped away. But they gave so many millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars to Ukraine and billions of dollars to Israel. Look at all the money that the Biden administration said they cut off from certain organizations and certain nations that they were being funded by way of the Biden administration because they were going some weird shit. But they saying Trump admin will seize wages, pensions, taxes, tax refunds to repay student loans. So you mean to tell me people that pay taxes, work in America, you take their tax dollars and send it to Ukraine and Israel and these other nations? The Biden administration still doing that. You see it on the news. Not Biden, Trump administration still doing that, right? They claiming to cut all these funds from these worthless organizations to save money to get so-called America out of debt, but which they can use that money that they come from these other places, cut for these other places to pay off this student loan debt. But now you're saying the Trump admin will seize wages, pensions, tax refunds to repay student loans. Debt cannot be wiped away. And don't forget, they're supposed to start back. These people got to start back paying on their student loan debt. March, May 5th. You see why people gonna be marching and coming up against his administration? You see why people going up against Trump and his administration? You see? All part of the plan. Just play the video.
The Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, has announced plans to claw back the $188 billion in student loan forgiveness granted under Joe Biden. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, she writes, quote, "Debt doesn't go away. It gets transferred to others. If borrowers don't pay their debts to the government, taxpayers do." America's Newsroom co-anchor and the 5 co-host, Dana Perino, one of those people, also a taxpayer, joins us right now.
Yes, believe me, taxpayer.
Well, remember when this all happened, it looked like Joe Biden was trying to buy the votes of young people who had outstanding student loans. Didn't work, but it cost all of us.
So it was a COVID-era policy.
Oh, yeah, and another thing. Here it is. America's in debt. America is in debt. What, 30, 37, 38 trillion? Which is actually more. They can't pay off their debt. But they want their citizens to pay off their debt. Which technically all U.S. citizens belong to the elites because we're all considered slaves, right? By way of Social Security number. So technically our debt is your debt. To be technical. And y'all know that too. That's why Yahweh Shemashah is not going to show any mercy upon America, man. Like that parable by Lord Yahweh Shai spoke of concerning the man who wanted mercy, but he didn't show mercy. Yep. Ain't no mercy coming to this place. Besides, they heathen. They don't deserve mercy.
See, it's time for it to go away.
Right.
What she announced yesterday, and in the...
Not in this sense. But Yahweh Shemashah is going to have mercy on all nations except for Esau. How? No, not by salvation, but by their seed line will not be wiped out. Okay? They're gonna live, get to a certain age, die. Third or fourth generation, they're coming back in our kingdom. All right? Well, us Israelites being the rule, who are going to have eternal lives, us Israelites, but you heathen, except for Esau, after your 1,000 years, your ass is grass, and you will be burnt up, all of you, all right? From the men to the women, to the sons to the daughters, all right? But you other nations outside of Esau will be alive and amongst us, serving us, all right? In your own lands and things like that. Just had to make that clear, all right?
Wall Street Journal piece today that I thought was very good is that the gravy train is over. And also remember, it was Nancy Pelosi who said, Joe Biden doesn't have the legal authority to do this. They tried to do it anyway. The courts kept pushing it back. So they had false hopes, false promises to people. And I understand that the student loan debt can be a burden. It doesn't mean that the system shouldn't be changed or that the interest rate couldn't be lowered. But they are going to have to pay it back. Nobody helped somebody that bought an F-150 as a plumber pay that bill.
Right.
And none of us should have to. They pay their bills. Everyone should pay their bills. It doesn't mean...
I don't know what happened, but it froze. But anyway, you get the point. Biden, Trump admin will seize wages, pensions, tax refunds to repay student loans. Debt cannot be wiped out, man. So you see why people are going to be marching and protesting and fighting and getting down and dirty. And we see what's coming, man, because of what? Again, 2 Edis 15 and 19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their house with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. It's coming soon. Shalom.